There's a 10x summon this weekend, and Stag Knight is one of them. Stag Knight was given during the first Battle Pass, and if you missed out on Stag Knight during the Battle Pass, then you get a chance to summon him this weekend. Stag Knight is a epic champion in the Bannerlord faction. He's great in Fire Knight, he's great in Ice Golem, he's great on Spiders, and he's great in Clan Boss. Hey, what's going on there YouTube? This is Yasuo here. So let's jump right into Clan Boss and talk about Stag Knight. What I'm running here is I'm running a speed team that consists of Haikatum, Razin Skarhai, Occult Brawler, Nizana, and Stag Knight. I'm using Haikatum as my speed lead and for the turn meter control. Razin Skarhai is there for the weaken and the additional decreased defense debuff. Occult Brawler is there for the poison, and Nizana is there for the added protection and the additional decreased attack debuff. And I'm using Stag Knight for my main decreased attack role. What I'm trying to do here is to use Stag Knight to keep a 100% uptime with having decreased attack and decreased defense on the clan boss. To do this, I need my Stag Knight to be fast. In case the decreased attack ever falls off, then I have Nizana as my backup role to put up this debuff back on the clan boss. Let's talk about Stag Knight's ability. Let's start with the most important ability. What you want to use Stag Knight for is his A2, which is a 4-turn cooldown and has a 70% chance to put up a 2-turn decreased attack and decreased defense. If you book the skill, then it becomes a 3-turn cooldown and a 95% chance of placing the 2 debuffs, decreased attack and decreased defense. And the cool thing about this ability is that if you use it outside of clan boss, then it attacks all enemies. So it's really great to use this ability on dungeon waves. Also, what Stag Knight is really used for too is his passive, which places a 50% increased accuracy onto an ally for 1 turn for every time that that ally has a debuff resisted by an enemy. So if your champion are lower on accuracy, then having Stag Knight on the team will help the team a lot in landing their debuffs. So now let's get to his A1. His A1 attacks 2 times, and each hit has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. If you book this, then it becomes a 50% chance of placing the debuff. So in Clan Boss, this ability won't work, but surprisingly, the A1 hits quite hard. So Stag Knight can put up some pretty good damage in Clan Boss due to how hard his A1 hits. And outside of Clan Boss, his A1 works really good in dungeons. Here's my run with Stag Knight and Fire Knight. Here's my run with Stag Knight and Ice Golem. And here's my run with Stag Knight and Spiders. However, he's not the greatest champion in Dragon, and that's mainly because Dragon 20 is magic affinity, and Stag Knight's decreased speed debuff doesn't work on the Dragon. So in this video, I'm running him in Clan Boss, which really shows you how versatile Stag Knight is. For dungeons, Stag Knight can be used in all stages of the game, from early to mid game and to late game. He's usable in most of the dungeons. For Clan Boss, he's more of a early game and mid game champion. Now let's get to talking about using Stag Knight in Clan Boss. So when do you want to run Stag Knight on your team? You want to run Stag Knight when you don't have a consistent champion with a A1 ability that can put up decreased attack onto the Clan Boss. For most teams, Stag Knight will keep up a decreased attack on 2 out of the 3 Clan Boss turns. So in most teams, running Stag Knight alone will not be efficient enough to keep the decreased attack debuff up on the Clan Boss at all times. However, if you're running a speed team like what I'm doing here, and if you can get Stag Knight to be pretty fast, then using him in Clan Boss will be a great choice. Basically, what you want him to do is to be able to let the boss at least once per attack cycle. So you need to go 4-3 in some of the cycles. If you want to know what 4-3 is, then check out some of my other videos on my channel as I talked about running a 4-3 Sepulchre Sentinel and a 4-3 Jirag. When Stag Knight goes 4-3, then it allows him to put up the decreased attack and decreased defense back on the clan boss whenever it drops off. If you're having trouble going 4-3, then you might want to run a champion that has the increased speed buff. And if you're not running a 4-3 Stag Knight, then you need another champion with attack down to help keep the decreased attack up on the clan boss at all times. Also, as I mentioned earlier, when I talked about his passive, you want to use him when your champions don't have the accuracy. And this is because he puts up a 50% increased accuracy, which helps your team a lot to land your debuffs. And this makes Stag Knight a really good clan boss champion, especially for early game and mid game. And that's mainly because during early game and mid game, a lot of players struggle to get high accuracy. If you want to know what's a good accuracy, then I would say that being around 200 accuracy stat is where you want to be at for anything Nightmare and under. But with Stag Knight on your team will do just fine having 150 to 180 accuracy when you're dealing with anything from Nightmare difficulty and under. So let's take a look at my Stag Knight, and this is what I have on him. I have him in Lifesteal set and Accuracy set. Even with his passive, you want high accuracy on him. You don't want his A2 getting resisted, because if that happens, then that's 3 turns without decreased attack on the clan boss. And in most cases, that's game over. So get his accuracy high. Again, I would shoot for at least 200 accuracy for anything Nightmare and under, and for Ultra Nightmare, I would aim for 240 and over. For his defense, a good starting point is to shoot for at least 3000 defense for anything that is Nightmare and under. And if you're hitting Ultra Nightmare, then I would aim for 3500 defense. For his speed, I went with 213 speed, and that's because I ran him in a speed team. But if you're running counterattack, then you want to run him speed tomb in the proper setting that you have for your team. For example, if you're running the slower counterattack version, and that's 170 speed, then having Stag Knight to be a bit faster than your counterattack champion will work just fine. What you also want to do is to go to Deadwood Jedi's calculator and insert in your team speed and observe your team's rotation. This will help you speed tune according to what you want your team to do. For mastery, I went with the offense and support tree. For offense, I basically went straight down to get War Master, and for support tree, you want Sniper and Master Hexer on Stag Knight. Sniper gives him a additional 5% to land his debuff. So let's talk about his A2 again. When you book his A2, it becomes a 95% chance of landing the debuff. With Sniper, that additional 5% will make his A2 a 100% chance of landing the 2 debuff. As long as it doesn't get resist, then he's going to land both the decreased attack and decreased defense. And we're at the end of the clan boss battle, so here's my overall conclusion on Stag Knight. He's great in clan boss for early game and mid game because he helps with the accuracy, and he can place 2 debuffs that you want to have on the clan boss, which is the decreased attack and decreased defense. In clan boss, he mainly plays the decreased attack role, but preferably for endgame, you want a champion that has a decreased attack on their A1, and that's because you don't want to wait on the ability cooldowns. And to make Stag Knight dependable as your main attack down champion, then you must make him fast so that he can let the boss, so that he can put up the 2 debuffs whenever it falls off. However, for dungeons, I'd say that he's pretty high tier. His A2 allows your nukers to follow up and clear waves. His A1 has decreased speed, which will slow some of the bosses down and allow your team to let the bosses multiple times, which is going to help your team in clearing a lot of the dungeons. If you do end up summoning him, then I suggest that you do use him. He is a really great champion and will help you in a lot of the content in Raid Shadow Legends. Alright, and that's all I have for today. If you like this video, please click the like button below and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions for me, then please let me know in the comments section below. Thank you.